Welcome to another episode of Pizain's podcast, where me, your host, Wizain the Pizain, reads the news and gives you my opinion on it. We're going to do things a little differently this weekend when it comes to the Three Bozos Big Show. Friday, it's going to be me, Wizain the Pizain, joined by Brooksy Boy. Then Saturday, it's going to be me again, Wizain the Pizain, joined by Javi Bose. Had a little bit of scheduling conflict this week, so couldn't all get together, but we'll give you two separate shows, and we'll see how it goes. Then, next week, as my poppy would say, God willing and the creek don't rise, the three of us will be back together for a Three Bozos reunion. All right, so like always, giving you a peer into the life of Wizain the Pizain before we get on to the news. Let's jump on to the topic of my son, my 2-year-old toddler. He is a hoot. So while I was at work today, my wife sent me a text message saying, "Oh no." Those were the only words. Oh no. And of course, me being a parent now, I immediately go to the most drastic of thoughts. But then she explained. She said the child was being quiet in his playpen. He has this playpen. It's very large. It's probably about, 8 feet by 8 feet. Has a lot of toys in there. And usually he'll make some noises and play with his toys. She said he was being very quiet. So she goes in there to pick him up. And he's in the middle, so she can't just go. She has to actually step in. And as she steps in to the playpen, she feels a squish between her toes. Much like a rainy day into a mud puddle, as your toes grip the mud from the earth, squeezing between your pinky toe and your big toe. And she looked down to quite the smell. That's right. Our toddler had a blowout. There was a Hershey highway all through his playpen, all up and down his clothes, all around, like finger paints, but only with brown paint. So she had quite the cleanup duty today. Yes, he's a handful. And we're also doing potty training with him. So I had him on the potty tonight. And he did his business. He did good. So we put him in his room, getting him ready for bed. My wife goes into the bathroom to get his toothbrush, to brush his little teethies before the end of the night. And what does she find but in the toilet full of his pull-up diapers? He took his pull-up diapers and threw them all in the toilet. Those aren't cheap. Those are not cheap at all. So we had to throw out a bunch of pull-up diapers that never got used. But now he's in his bed, safely sleeping. They're always so cute when they're sleeping. And there you go. I'm sure I'll have more stories to come of the little one. Well, on to the news. The UK election day set. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, I guess that's how you say his name, yesterday set the date for UK general elections for July 4th. They trying to one-up us, huh? There's only one July 4th. That's right. USA. Get wrecked, UK. The announcement comes as Sunak's center-right Conservative Party trails 20 points behind the opposition Labour Party in polls. And they spell Labour with a U. They always spell weird things over there with a U, like color, COLOUR, favor, or favorite, or I don't know. They spell everything with a U. Makes no sense. It's a waste of a letter. You know? Just shorten that shit up. LABOR, labor. With respondents largely citing inflation and the influx of migrants for their discontent. Discontent. Yes, they are upset. Discontent. In the UK, general elections are held no more than 5 years apart, with the Prime Minister setting the date. The most recent election was 2019, when former Prime Minister Boris Johnson replaced then Prime Minister Theresa May, both conservatives. Boris Johnson looked like he looked like the drunk guy that's always at the bar that you just don't really want to talk to, but he'd come over to you and lean on your shoulder and basically say, "Hey," and try to give you life advice, and he's just a big fat slob. Sunak had until January 2025 to hold new elections. His announcement of early elections came as official figures showed inflation slowing to 2.3 last month, down from 11% in 2022. Well, that's good for them, I guess. Sunak trails behind Keir Starmer, who has pulled his left-wing Labour Party towards the political center and oversaw a string of local election wins this month. If Labour wins this coming election, it will end 14 years of Conservative rule. I think their version of Conservative and left-wing are different than what we have. I gotta tell you, I don't know much about UK politics. It really doesn't interest me, so we're just going to move on. Graceland stays with family. A Tennessee judge yesterday ruled to prevent the foreclosure and sale of Elvis Presley's Graceland estate. The Memphis estate, which had been scheduled to go to auction today, can stay with Presley's family, with the judge accusing the company trying to sell it of possible fraud. Last year, this investment firm said it loaned Presley's daughter Lisa Marie $3.8 million in 2018 using Graceland as collateral. Interesting little story. When I was just a young lad, I went to Disney World with my family, the Magic Kingdom. And as we were walking down one of the streets of the Magic Kingdom, everyone started to get a bustle. I looked to my left, and this man, dressed in disguise with a woman next to him, walked by me with a bunch of big guys kind of walking around them, looking around. Come to find out, the person who walked next to me was Michael Jackson, dressed in disguise, and next to him with his new bride, Lisa Marie Presley. No one in the news knew about it yet. It was brand new. 1 month later, the National Enquirer had photos of the two of them together walking in Disneyland, and I was there to see the event. And luckily, as I was just a little lad, Michael Jackson did not touch my butthole as he walked by. So it really was a magical kingdom that day. Elvis's granddaughter, Danielle Riley Keough, who owns Graceland, sued to block the sale, calling the documents counterfeit and the company fake. The notary public name denies ever overseeing a document signed by Lisa Marie. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Graceland stays with the family. That's good news. It's one of those things that, it should. It's Elvis. It's Graceland. It's one of those things that shouldn't change. Not everything needs to change. Some things should just stay the same. Speaking of, more student debt relief. The Biden administration approved, I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden myself, approved the cancellation of $7.7 billion in student debt yesterday for an estimated 160,500 eligible borrowers. The move is part of the White House's incremental approach to canceling federal student loans via program adjustments as it builds out a broader debt plan. Yesterday, approval brings the administration's total debt relief to $167 billion for nearly 5 million borrowers. I'm not even going to read the rest of this stupid fucking story. I went to college. I know a lot of people that went to college. Nobody paid for any of our student debt or anybody else's student debt. I'm glad that people like me and other people who graduated college had to pay their own debt off, and then now we have to pay these other people's debt off. It is a choice to go to college. If you can't afford it, if you can't afford to pay your loan off, that's not my problem, and that's not a lot of people's problem. There are a lot of people who don't go to college who make, find lives for themselves, learn a trade or not. They it is not their responsibility to pay off student debt. And what this is Biden buying votes. People with student debt, younger people just getting out of college, maybe they've been in the workforce for like 5 years or so. He is buying their vote by canceling their debt, and it is despicable and wrong. Let's see what else we have. NHL, Western Conference Final. I don't care about hockey. U.S. investment fund takes over Inter Milan soccer club. I don't care about soccer. Kairos, a novel by German writer Jenny Erpenbeck, wins prestigious 2024 International Booker Prize for Best Work of Fiction Translated into English. Why don't we click on that story? It's about a tortured love affair. Let's see. At the center of Kairos is a relationship between 19-year-old Katharina and Hans, a married writer in his 50s. They have sex. They go on walks. Hopefully, they're not walking while having sex. That seems pretty difficult. They listen to music, possibly while having sex and going on walks. But the relationship soon starts to turn violent and cruel. This feeling of loss and disillusionment maps onto the political shifts happening in Germany at that time. I believe the book takes place in the 80s. Yes, so you had the Berlin Wall and communism and all sorts of just not good stuff. Anyway, that won an award, so yeah, it seemed pretty fucking stupid. Director Mohamed Rasoulof will attend Cannes Film Festival, or is it Cannes? Cannes or Cannes? I think it's Cannes Film Festival screening of his film The Seed of the Sacred Fig after fleeing Iran following being sentenced to 8 years in prison by the Islamic Revolutionary Court. Sounds like a pretty pretentious name for a movie. Let's see if it tells us what it's about. Let's see. According to the synopsis provided by sales company, blah, blah, blah. An investing judge in the Revolutionary Court in Tehran who grapples with mistrust and paranoia as nationwide political protest intensifies, his gun mysteriously disappears, suspecting the involvement of his wife, Najmeh, and his daughters, Rezva and Sana. He imposes drastic measures at home, causing tensions to rise. It sounds pretty fucking stupid and pretentious, so that's why it's at the Cannes Film Festival. All right, AI startup Anthropic provides deepest study to date exploring why large language models, including the company's Claude 3 chatbot, generates content in response to different prompts. That sounds really fucking boring. This is a new story. Researchers develop a compound with the elusive radioactive element promethium for the first time, allowing it to be studied more easily. With no stable isotopes, only about 1 total pound of promethium exists in the Earth's crust at any given time. That also sounds really fucking boring. Like, what does it do? I guess we'll find out. Bilingual brain implant decodes words in both English and Spanish for analysis of brain waves. AI-powered device demonstrated in stroke patients who lost the ability to speak. So that's really cool for people, stroke patients who have lost the ability to speak. Um, I guess everybody can see the slippery slope happening there, though. We all get brain implants, and then there is no language barriers anymore. It's the story of the Tower of Babel all over again. We're going to be smited because of our own godhood. Markets close on signals. Federal Reserve may hold off on lowering interest rates. I would love it if interest rates were lowered. I'm not exactly happy with the home I live in now. It's a fine home. It's a nice home. Great home to, raise a child in, but I'm ready to upgrade. I'm ready to sell this bitch and get some land somewhere. Maybe a couple acres on a nice, farm somewhere, or maybe a house on the water, with a boat lift. I can just go put out into the mangroves and fish for some snook and redfish. That's another thing you guys probably don't know about me. I'm quite the fisherman. I love to fish. And to live on the canal would be great. Go fishing. Anywho. So yeah. Market closes down. Market sucks today. Mining giant Anglo American rejects takeover bid, but will enter talks with rival BH Group on a $50 billion. Nobody cares. Techstar CEO Mal Govet steps down, citing health reasons. Will leave company at the end of the month, organizing another thing. Nobody cares. Spain, Norway, and Ireland announced plan to recognize Palestinian statehood on May 28th. The Palestinian Authority and Hamas praise the move while Israel recalls ambassadors in protest. Which, yeah. So, on one hand, yes, Palestine does deserve its own state. And you can't just continue to not give people rights like they are now. They have not had any rights since, was it like the 70s, 60s even? They've just basically been held captive there this entire time. Having said that, you got to get rid of Hamas first. Like, Hamas has to get out of there. They have to be eliminated. There needs to be a real government of some sort there, not these barbaric, terrorists. But here's another thing. Which countries recognize a Palestinian state? And we're not going to get to that because it wants me to turn off my ad blocker, and I don't do that. I got the ad blocker out for a reason. I don't want to read your stupid fucking ads. And if you make me turn off my ad blocker, well, you're not going to get me to read your story. So I'm sorry. Your website has caused all the people listening to my podcast to not recognize which countries recognize a Palestinian state. It was CBS, by the way. Buck CBS. City of Uvalde, Texas reaches $2 million settlement with families of 19 victims of the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. City also pledges to overhaul the local police force and create a memorial for the victims. It goes without saying, those are the biggest fucking cowards ever. Those police officers. And, what else is there to say about that? It was a huge tragedy. It was disgusting. And everything about it was just disgusting. And you had Border Patrol, play hero. Unfortunately, it was just way too late. They weren't playing hero. They were heroes. They went in there and they did what had to be done. Went into the face of danger, something that those, local yokels wouldn't do. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley says she will vote for former President Donald Trump in November, consolidating further Republican support behind the presumptive nominee. I fucking hate Nikki Haley. She is worse than... She's like a notch below Hillary Clinton. She's a war hawk. She's bought and paid for. She's corrupt as fuck. Yeah. She is just terrible. I'm so happy that she got completely eliminated for the running for president. She stuck with it way too long. It was actually kind of funny to see her just state by state get completely blown out and her have to give a some sort of speech every single time. And I don't know what the fuck she was thinking there, but yeah. Uh, my opinion, Nikki Haley, terrible. Let's see here. We have, oh, now we got the clickbaity of the clickbaities. Lauryn Hill's 1998 album tops Apple Music's top 100 album list. Yeah, you had Lauryn Hill, Kendrick Lamar, and Beyonce top Apple's Music's 100 best albums of all time list. Let's see. You had one, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. I've never listened to that once in my life. You had Thriller by Michael Jackson, of course. Abbey Road by the Beatles. That's pretty standard. Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution. I was never a huge Prince fan. I get why people like him, but it's not my cup of tea. Uh, Blonde by Frank Ocean. I don't know. Never heard that one. Or maybe I have, and I just didn't realize it. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's pretty underrated. I recommend listening to some of his stuff on Spotify, where you can also find Pizain's podcast and the Three Bozos every weekend. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you. You got Good Kid, Mad City, Deluxe Version, Kendrick Lamar at 7. We'll just do the top 10. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. It's a little pretentious. She was okay. She was good, but it was mostly about her, battle with drug addiction and how strung out she was. Nevermind by Nirvana and Lemonade by Beyonce. There you go. That's Apple's top 10 of their top 100. Bark Air, a dog-focused airline, to take first flight today. Let's see. Bark Air, a new airline that puts dogs before their human companions, will take its first flight Thursday. Its sold-out maiden voyage will depart New York for Los Angeles at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bark, a pet company founded in 2011 that sells dog food and other products, announced the new aviation experience for canines in April. So it's basically just catering to, for dog travel. I mean, I guess that's cool. It seems expensive. It looks like they do like private jets and shit. Yeah, don't tell my wife. Oh, she hates to fly, so we don't have to worry about that. But all right, next. Study asks why mosquitoes like humans more than others. I bet it is, I just clicked on the article. I bet it is because of O blood type. My wife has been telling me for years that mosquitoes prefer people with an O blood type because she has an O blood type. Let's see what the article says. Body odor could hold key to more effective repellents and malaria control. So if you stink, they will not come after you. Oh, jeez. Human scent. Yeah. All right. Well, guess I was wrong. And then the 50 worst U.S. city for mosquitoes. I've already reviewed this list. And let me tell you, it's a little misleading. Because what it really does is it tells you who are the biggest bitches in the country. Because it's all about a bunch of whiny bitches. Let me read you the official headline. And this is from Orkin's website. California dreaming. Los Angeles leads nation in mosquito complaints according to Orkin's 2024 top mosquito cities list. Complaints. So they're like, oh, too many mosquitoes. Oh, fucking pussy ass Los Angeles bitches. I tell you what, number one is Florida. Anywhere in fucking Florida. And if it's not, this is a bullshit list. So let me actually read you the list. Number 1, Los Angeles. Number 2, New York. Whiny fucking bitches from New York. Number 3, Chicago. These are literally just the loudest of the most annoying people. 4, Dallas. They just think everything's. I actually have been to number 6 on this list, Houston, and they do not have nearly the amount of mosquitoes that we have in Florida. But yeah, it's one of those things where in Texas everything is bigger. They do have bigger mosquitoes. They're fucking huge over there. But when it comes to quality, yes, they have us. But when it comes to quantity, not even close. So yeah, you got 5 Georgia, 6 Houston, 7 Washington D.C., 8 Philadelphia. There's a trend here. You have blue city, blue city, blue city, blue state, whatever, blue state, blue state, blue state, red state, blue state, red state, blue Washington, D.C., blue Philadelphia, blue San Francisco, Detroit is blue, Seattle is blue, until you get number 12, Tampa, Florida. You telling me that Florida is number 12 on this list for mosquitoes? That's right. And then you got Miami at like 15, Orlando at 13. Yeah. No, these are just people who whine and cry the most. So fuck you and your little bitchy bullshit. Come live in Florida for 1 week. Go outside at night and tell me then. All right. Oh, let's see. 9 female athletes get their own Barbie dolls. I bet one of them is Venus Williams. Hey, what do you know? Venus Williams among 9 women sports stars to get her own Barbie doll. You got Venus Williams. You got gymnast Rebecca Andrade from Brazil, Alex Moreno from Mexico, soccer players Mary Fowler from Australia and Christine Sinclair from Canada, French boxer Estelle Mosley, Italian swimmer Frederica Pellegrini, blah, 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 blah. A bunch of other women y'all have never heard of. So really, Venus Williams might be the only one you've ever heard of. They're all getting their own Barbies. Good for them. If they're going to make Venus Williams, they should probably take the black Ken doll and just put boobs on it. New Princess of Wales portrait spurs mixed reaction. Whatever. It just looks like a dumb drawing. It looks like a person. I don't know. Whatever. It's one of those dumb clickbaity articles. And should you park under an overpass during a tornado? Let's see. The nearest ditch, ravine, or culvert. It's telling you to not. It can create an even more serious situation. I'm assuming because it can break down the overpass and crush you. Seems pretty reasonable to me. All right, and then the history book. That is, in today, throughout history, infamous bank robbers Bonnie and Clyde are killed by police. Yes, they basically got hit with a roadblock. A bunch of police officers came out and just mowed down the entire car, killing both of them inside. They like shot that bitch out so many full of bullets, it was Swiss cheese. John D. Rockefeller dies in 1937. German Nazi officer Adolf Eichmann revealed to have been captured in Argentina in 1960. Musician Jewel born in 1974. James Bond actor Roger Moore dies in 2017. And at the end here we have a little quote from Mr. John D. Rockefeller. I do not think that there is any other quality so essential to success of any kind as the quality of perseverance. It overcomes almost everything, even nature. Well, here at the Pizain's podcast, I am overcoming all sorts of things. I am persevering. It's essential to the success of this podcast. And I will overcome almost everything, even nature itself, So fuck you, hurricanes, fuck you, earthquakes, and fuck you, mudslides, because Pizain's podcast is coming through. Woo! Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you for listening to Pizain's podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I will get to the other ones as soon as I can, but we'll be on there before you know it. Join me this Friday and Brooksy Boy for part 1 of Three Bozos, and then join us again Saturday as me and Hobby get together for part 2 of Three Bozos. And when I say join us, I mean that's the days we're recording them. You'll probably end up joining us on Sunday when I get them released. Anyway, that's the show. Yippee-yo, let's go. See ya.